Very well, the 26th day of May 2026 it is. Good afternoon. This is the great KBC, just in time for KBC Lunchtime News. My name is Njue. Lucy Mora is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Straight to the news. Now, teachers across the country are grappling with financial stress, mental health struggles, and burnout, according to a new nationwide wellness and engagement survey launched Tuesday in Nairobi. The study, which was conducted by Teachers Union, NAT, sampling 875 teachers, revealing that 97% of teachers admitted to having no money left by the end of the month after their expenses, forcing many endless borrowing and debt traps simply to survive.
It is now officially launched. Thank you. The most appalling area is the financial wellness of a teacher. That the teacher cannot save because the teacher has no money to save. And this leads to a teacher being in debts because that teacher will only live hardly from hands to mouth.
Physical wellness was also a key item, and we learned that teachers actually do not have a preventative healthcare practice. They are very reactive. This means that they do not go for annual checkups during the year, even though they are covered by insurance. Teachers are practicing poor nutrition.
But what I can assure the teachers is that once we get such surveys, we get such reports, we take them seriously, and we look into ways and means continuously improving the circumstances under which our teachers are working.
Hands together again for that session that we've just concluded, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
The government will continue to partner with other well-wishers to construct modern mosques in government institutions across the country. The Principal Secretary of the State Department for Special Programs, Ismail Alim Made, said mosques transcend worship, contributing significantly to mentorship of the young generation, social cohesion, education center, and development, among others. He spoke at the National Youth Service NYS headquarters in Nairobi County during the official opening of the Marifa Masjid.
The Principal Secretary, State Department for Social Program, Ismail Malim Madei, led top National Youth Service NYS officials, including Muslim chaplains. He heads to the official opening of the Sharifa Masjid at the NYS headquarters in Nairobi.
Besides a sacred building, is a space for community, a calm haven for social gathering, education, counseling, as well as a ground for service and charity to the needy.
The Sharifa Masjid was constructed by Dr. Muhammad Bat Sadaka Jaria, a businessman and a well-wisher in a dedication to his late mother. Dr. Bat said the mosque honors his mother's legacy and grant her ongoing spiritual rewards, as well as to foster harmony and to bring diverse communities together.
Thank you to the organizers of today's graceful function and efforts of all those who have made Sharifa Masjid a reality.
Speaking during the event, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Social Program, Ismail Malim Madei, said the government will continue to partner in constructing mosques and government institutions across the country.
We really sincerely appreciate and pray for you that He gives you good health, that He blesses your wealth, and He continues to bless you with guidance so that you are able to continue building similar house of God in many places.
Madei said mosques transcend worship, contributing significantly to the mentorship of the younger generation, social cohesion and development, among others.
Let it become a symbol of harmony, compassion and mutual respect. And to our youth, this mosque belongs to you, because you are the owners of this institution.
A sentiment echoed by Chairman of National Youth Service Council, Lieutenant General retired Adan Olata, and National Youth Service NYS Commandant General James Tambur.
As a human being, if you don't have values, iko shida. So I want us to encourage all of you so that we are guided by values. You have to ask, what is our moral placing? What is our spiritual standing?
This new mosque can accommodate about 500 worshippers. Thank you very much, Dr. Bat. This includes also facilities for madrasa classes and as a conference hall. More importantly, it gives our Muslim servicemen and servicewomen a proper place for daily prayers.
The Sharifa Masjid, which serves as a vital hub for community cohesion, comprises social conference and madrasa facilities, among others.
Elsewhere, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has called on Kenyans to observe the protocols issued by the Ministry of Health following the Ebola virus outbreak in the neighboring countries of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Speaking in Murang'a County during the unveiling of the Ahadi Kenya Trust Jiga Archive and Community Resource Center, Mudavadi said even though no suspected cases have been reported in the country, Kenyans should remain vigilant and uphold sanitation and also report any suspected cases. As of 23rd of May 2026, the Ebola Bundibugyo outbreak in the DRC and Uganda has resulted into 750 suspected cases and over 170 deaths, with 84 confirmed cases.
It is important that as a nation we also appreciate that there is a new crisis, and this is the Ebola crisis. Therefore, I'm not a doctor per se, medical doctor, but I think the protocols that were observed around COVID time, it's important that we start appreciating those protocols. So that we can save Kenyans from the risk of this dangerous strain of Ebola, which is taking many lives in other countries.
Another news, a 23-year-old boda operator from Ruiru is recovering after surviving multiple rubber bullet injuries, allegedly from stray bullets he sustained during the recent fuel hike demonstrations when police opened fire to disperse protesters in Kiambu. Doctors at Kiambu Level 5 Hospital managed to remove 4 out of 7 rubber bullets lodged in his body, while 3 remain in sensitive areas pending further treatment. Aaron Murray has the details.
A 23-year-old Daniel Ndiagichumu is lucky to be alive. The boda operator was at his workstation in Ruiru when chaos erupted during countrywide protests sparked by rising fuel prices.
Nilishutiwa tu hiyo siku ya maandamano Ruiru nikiwa kwa kazi ya boda on Monday jioni.
According to witnesses, a police vehicle drove past the area before one officer allegedly opened fire using rubber bullets. Daniel was hit several times and collapsed on the ground, bleeding. Fellow boda riders rushed to rescue him after the officers reportedly left the scene.
Kati ya watu wakipotea, walikuwa wanapotelea kwenye tulikuwa tunabebea kwa stage. Sasa kwa hiyo watu wakipotea, hapo nipo nilipatikania hapo, nikashutiwa hapo. Mimi sasa sikujua hadi alinipiga akiwa amepita akiwa kwa gari hakusimama.
Doctors managed to remove 4 rubber bullets from Daniel's body, but 3 bullets remained lodged in delicate parts, as the medical experts advised against immediate removal until his condition stabilizes further.
The remaining 3 are lodged in the body in areas that are very sensitive, and trying to get them out at this moment will lead to severe bleeding.
Daniel's lawyer Patrick Kungo has condemned what he described as excessive force against innocent civilians during protest. The lawyer also called on President William Ruto to engage relevant stakeholders in addressing the ongoing fuel crisis.
That is a mandate that they've been given by the people, so they should not allow such issues to escalate to a situation where people are going out to the streets, because once that happens, the end result is what we see here.
Investigation into the incident are ongoing as pressure mounts for accountability.
We urge the IPOA, we'll give you time to, to undertake your mandate, because that is your work as per the law. But we also want to see you move swiftly, and we want to see justice done.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Aaron Marie.
Now, 10,581 children were reported missing in the country between January 2025 and March 2026. Over 6,000 of them were abandonment cases, with poverty cited as the main cause. To curb this vice, the government is calling for collaborative efforts among all stakeholders.
The poem chanted in such cautious tones, a testament to the growing atmosphere of insecurity children are exposed to.
A day actually that we remember.
The commemoration of the International Day of Missing Children under the theme Beyond Child Disappearance comes at a time where a total of 10,581 children were reported missing between January 2025 and March 2026. Of these, 6,820 were abandoned children, 1,932 are abducted, and 173 were trafficked.
The issue of missing and found children goes far beyond disappearance from home. It reflects deeper child protection, social welfare, justice, and family support challenges that demand coordinated national action.
Gender and Culture Cabinet Secretary Hannah Windot says translating the findings on lost and found children into practical action is one of the 5-step plan adopted by the State Department of Child Services to address the plight of missing children.
The government has put in place key systems and reforms to address missing and found children, including the guidelines for the management of missing and found children, Child Helpline 116, and the Child Protection Information Management System, children officers across the country, the Technical Working Group on Missing and Found Children, care reforms, implementation of the National Policy on Family Promotion and Protection, and counter-trafficking interventions.
Principal Secretary for Children's Services Karen Agengo said the National Positive Parenting Program will promote healthy and transparent relationships in the nuclear family units.
I want to urge all parents in Kenya to take up the positive parenting responsibility, the positive parenting program that the State Department of Children's Services is implementing to ensure they are fully equipped, to ensure their children are safe.
Members of the public were urged to report any cases of a child missing, neglected, or abused through the toll-free number 116 or to the nearest police station. Joy Naomi, Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, a section of women in Nandi County has called on the government to improve on the president's security following an incident during the head of state's visit in Kilifi County, where an individual invaded the stage while the president was addressing the citizens. Speaking in Msombecho village in Njue constituency, the leaders led by the director of the National Inua Women Group, Stella Wandoe, said the move of transferring the security officers was not enough, but insisted on implementing the right procedures to make sure the president is protected while addressing the public.
Na ya hawa vijana wetu, kile wanachofikiria, ile changamoto walioko nayo, watu wanaendelea kuandika hizo shida, hizo points zenye ambazo hawa wanapitia. Then before president aondoke, bila shaka anatenga dakika kama 5-3 kumiti hao wenye ambao walikuwa wameleta hizo changamoto, anazisort out. Hatuwezi pata pressure kama hizi.
Viongozi ambaye tuliwachagua walio mamlakani ambao ni daraja ya raia hawana nafasi kuongea na raia, kusikiza mambo ambayo inawasumbua raia, hasa vijana wetu.
Kemea kabisa. Aswa mimi sikulala, hata iliniuma zaidi kwa sababu imekuwa mazoeo kwa watu wenye wanachunga president. Wamesahau kazi yao ya kufanya, wamesahau kulinda president.
A youth movement from Western Kenya region allied to the Linda Mwananchi faction of ODM is urging Kenyans to elect young leaders with transformative ideas in the 2027 general elections. They further decried discrimination and political marginalization of residents from Western Kenya region for a long time, vowing to reverse that by empowering young people to engage in active politics.
Nakataa kutumika kama goons. Tunataka tupewe kazi ili tuweze kujisimamia kama sisi wenyewe vijana. Wakati wa kupewa shilingi 200 ili tuweke kiongozi kule ofisini kwenda kuiba na kuluti na invest kule Dubai kule nchi za nje umefika mwisho.
Hapa Western tumesimama, tumeinuka na tuko na msimamo. Na tumeamua sauti ni moja ambayo tunaenda kueneza. Kutoka hapa leo mjue sisi kama Western Region tuko nyuma ya Sifuna. Tutatembea na Sifuna, tutasimama na Sifuna na tutamsikiliza Sifuna.
He is no longer a man from Western Region. Sisi tumewachia watu wa deal na yeye nationally. Lakini tuko hapa kumlinda kwa sababu ground bado ni yetu. We are on the ground to make sure that he gets what he wants.
Linda Mwananchi, linda Kenya. Linda Mwananchi, linda Kenya.
Well, in other news, the Public Service Commission, PSC, has put on notice senior government officers who have been sexually harassing interns deployed to various ministries. The commission says it has received disturbing reports of increased sexual exploitation and psychological torture against interns, with some cases leading to suicides. The commission has tasked officers to report any incidents of abuse and take prompt action against such officers. It has also assigned mentors to the interns under the Public Service Internship Program, PSIP, to guide them, expose them to the necessary experience, and inculcate integrity and professionalism.
We have heard of cases where the young people are abused by public officials. And these abuses range from sexual harassment, emotional stress, psychological torture, and many other forms of mistreatment. We will not hesitate to take disciplinary actions, including dismissal, and where criminality has been established, to refer this for criminal prosecution.
PSIP program, as you are all aware, is the Commission's response on behalf of the government to the price, living, and concerns of unemployment.
Now to the coastal city of Mombasa, where community leaders in the county have condemned the rising cases of killings of women in the county, calling for those responsible to be arrested and prosecuted. Their remarks come just days after the death of gospel musician Rachel Wandeto following an attack in Nairobi's Mweki area. Speaking to journalists during a youth and women empowerment event in Bombolulu area, the director of Alfayo Foundation, Nelson Alfayo, emphasized the importance of maintaining peace, political tolerance, and empowering youth and women. The leaders insisted that violence against women threatens their right to life and must be brought to an end.
Maswala ya kupigana na wanawake na kuua wanawake ni maswala ambayo ni ya kitaidi na maswala ya kitambo. Mimi kama kiongozi wa leo ningependa jamii yetu embrace wanawake, wale ambao wanaua wasichana wetu. Hakuna kisa chochote ambacho kina sababu cha kifo. Hufai kuua msichana ama mtu yoyote kwa sababu mambo yoyote.
More than 6 community-based organizations in Jomvu constituency, Mombasa County, have joined hands in a major cleanup exercise in Jomvu Kuu Ward. The initiative is aimed at improving environmental sanitation and promoting public awareness on the importance of maintaining clean surroundings. Speaking during the exercise, the coordinator of Volcano Community-Based Organization CBO, Mariam Kurawa Ramadan, praised the participating groups for their dedication and collective spirit, noting that their commitment reflected patriotism and a strong desire to contribute to community development. She further said that environmental conservation and cleanliness play a critical role in improving public health and urged residents to embrace proper waste management practices to sustain the gains achieved through the initiative.
Sahi usafi ulimalika kwa sababu walituchukua na kuwa wametuchukua ni juu sisi tulianza. Sio kusema kwamba walikuja wakatukuta ndani ya nyumba, ni kwa sababu walituona tuna bidii na tukafanya. Kwa hiyo nilikuwa naomba wenzetu na kuwashukuru wale grupu zenye zimekuja. Nashukuru sana kuja kutushika mkono na ninaomba sana tuendelee kama gisi Amani spika wetu wa vijana amesema.
Still at the coast, the mangrove restoration efforts along Kenya's coastline in Sunza, Kwale County, have emerged as a critical pillar in the country's ambitious goal of planting 15 billion trees by the year 2032, with the government agencies, private companies and local communities joining forces to rehabilitate degraded ecosystems while creating economic opportunities. One of the latest restoration campaigns took place in Sunza, Kwale County, where the Kenya Navy, working alongside private sector partners, conservation groups and residents, planted 10,000 mangrove seedlings in a coordinated effort to restore damaged coastal habitats. The exercise brought together members of the Kenya Defence Forces KDF, environmental organizations, insurance firms and residents from neighboring villages, all united by a shared commitment to environmental conservation and climate action.
Through the Environmental Soldier Program, we are making steady progress so far, and we have planted over 80 million trees in our cantonments and in critical ecological zones such as Suza, Mwache, Bonche, Mangrove forests. This is why conservation here along Dogokundu is not just protecting trees, it is about safeguarding livelihoods, securing food, and strengthening resilience against climate change.
Kulingana katika zile sustainable development goals zile 17, hapa tuna achieve karibu 9. Mojawapo ni kwamba tunahakikisha kwa sababu tunanunua hii mikoko kutoka kwa community, then tunaondoa, kwanza tunapatia ajira, pili tunaondoa poverty.
Now, residents affected by recurring floods in parts of Garissa County are seeking justice over years of destruction blamed on dam spillovers and heavy rains. ODM-nominated MP Umurkhel Harun has launched community engagement forums to collect testimonies from victims as preparations continue for a court case aimed at pushing for compensation and long-term solutions to the flooding menace. Speaking during a community engagement meeting in Bulavumbi, Garissa County, Harun said the lawsuit seeks to bring affected families, farmers and institutions to strengthen the case against the continued devastation caused by the floods. Residents narrated losses of homes, crops, livestock and livelihood, saying repeated appeals for intervention have yielded little help. The legislator urged more victims to document their losses and join the petition, while also calling for lasting flood mitigation measures, including better water harvesting and river management systems to protect vulnerable communities.
Have been raising this particular agenda for the last 3 years. Each time the country experiences heavy rainfall, and we say Alhamdulillah for that. The mitigation or the planning has been better. But due to siltation, anytime rainfall happens in Mount Elgon, Mount Kenya, the dam cannot hold the water. So we've raised these matters in court. In the floor of the House. I personally took 3 statements, both to the ministry. I got feedback, We are now in court because we have the judiciary as an extra arm of government where we can also seek our rights.
Very well, for the next story item, we are crossing over to Ole Sereni. You do remember that the whole morning we have been beaming live and broadcasting the broadcast convention. The East Africa, for the first time ever, the continent has congregated right here in Nairobi to discuss matters affecting the industry and also the future. Talking about the future, we have AI. And now I'm joined by my colleague, Farah Yusuf Farah, who is at the convention together with the KBC radio manager, Mary Daraja. They're talking about AI and broadcasting. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon, Troy. As you said correctly, we're coming to you live from Ole Sereni, where KBC is the official media partner and the one that is broadcasting the 5th East African Broadcasters Convention. Of course, this is a convention that is bringing together industry leaders and stakeholders in the Broadcasting Association, and at the heart of the discussions on this 3-day convention is artificial intelligence. You know, how we are leveraging artificial intelligence, how it is being incorporated into broadcasting, whether or not it is a threat, and what the opportunities are available in AI for all of us. And right about now, I'm joined by our radio programs manager, Mary Daraja, who spoke earlier today. And Madam, good afternoon. During the panel discussions, you did mention something about AI and whether it's a threat or not to broadcasters. Kindly speak to that.
Thank you very much. I don't believe that AI is a threat to the jobs of journalists, because AI is a machine, it's a tool. And you cannot replace creativity with a robot or a machine. Creativity remains human, and even AI is a product of creativity by a human being. And therefore, people will still have their jobs. The only thing we need to do as journalists and as a people is to learn how to use AI in every aspect of our life, because it reduces the time we use in, for instance, producing news, coming up with a script, research. It reduces on time, but it can never replace a human being. Another thing is that we should look at AI as complementary, because AI is with us here, and it has streamlined the workflow of journalists and production and broadcasting in general. And therefore, we should embrace AI not as an aspect of replacing a human being, but an aspect of assisting a human being to do their work efficiently and faster. The other thing I would like to say is that the technology cannot dictate to human beings. It is human beings who dictate to technology, because we are the people who come up with the technology to assist us to function easily within these spaces. And therefore, we should adopt AI in journalism, but with the responsibility of being the creative aspect. We must create content. For AI even to collect, we must have created that content, inputted for AI to be able to collect that content. Imagine if we didn't have any information in the cloud. Can AI function? It cannot, but it will collect that information, that which has been inputted there by a human being.
Perhaps before I let you go, the discussion started this morning all the way to the afternoon. What is the one lesson maybe you've taken from the morning sessions up until now?
The one thing that I've learned is that we cannot run away from AI and any other emerging technology, because they are here with us, and we just have to embrace, learn how to utilize or use this technology so that we are able to navigate the future. Yes.
Thank you very much. That right there was our radio programs manager, Mary Jaraja, saying that AI is here with us, so we cannot run away from it. We just have to incorporate and learn from it. And one of the speakers here today did mention something, Troy, that AI is supposed to be an assistant, not an executor. So perhaps the takeaway is to use AI as an assistant, not as an executor. So right about now, let me take it back to you to studio. Of course, we'll be bringing you stories in our subsequent bulletins. But for now, Troy, take it away.
Thank you. That has been my colleague Yusuf Farah, live from the Ole Sereni, where all the broadcasters in the region have gathered just to discuss some number of issues affecting and also that are enabling the digital space when it comes to broadcasting, that is AI. And it's a good thing that Mary Daraja has noted that AI can never replace creativity. Yes, we've had, and you have seen on the net about even AI news readers. Have you seen it? Well, it is there, but she says that AI is a complementary and the journalist should be using it for efficiency, research, etc., etc. Well, that convention continues in the afternoon and also tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So you need to stick around KBC if you want to see all that live and much, much more. Details and a breakdown of that news item, Farah will be back a little bit later. At about 31 minutes past the top of the hour, time for me and Lucy Mora to take a quick break. But when we come back, I'll still run you through a couple of more stories. Then we make sense of business and lastly, sports. Don't go away.
But you have to, otherwise he'll be out.
Hey, I can't take that card. That'd split me up. I'd be stuck.
First, he didn't go far. I found him in the garden downstairs.
I want to try hard. But what will that achieve? Even if I work hard till I reach your age, it should be time to enjoy life. But it's still just one obstacle after another.
Hebu fikiria environment kama hii hapa Western Kenya. Eti mtu atatoka hapa aende Nairobi kusoma university to conquer the world. Mimi Andrew nitahakikisha hiyo ndoto imezimwa. Tazama hayo yote kwa Gundu KBC Tuesday to Thursday 7:30 p.m. Leo sio kesho.
Welcome back. Time to make sense of shillings and cents in business. Now, Family Bank Group has reported a 1.6 billion shillings in net profit during the first 3 months of this year, representing a 52.6% increase that was driven by interest income. During the period, net interest income surged 45.4% to 4.7 billion shillings.
Family Bank increased its net loans and advances to customers by 12.6% to 108.4 billion shillings. The increased lending pushed up Family Bank's total assets by 32.3% to 230.2 billion shillings. However, the increased lending resulted in higher gross non-performing loans that rose 15.27% to 17.1 billion shillings. From the loans and advances, the lender made 6.94 billion shillings in total interest income, representing a 26.5% growth on the 5.48 billion shillings recorded during a similar period last year. This was mainly on account of higher interest income on loans and advances, as well as on government securities. However, Family Bank booked 1.32 billion shillings in non-interest income, representing a 22.5% reduction. This was mainly on account of lower income that dipped from 982.5 million shillings to 548 million shillings. Total operating cost rose 7.6% to 3.7 billion shillings due to increased investment in technology and branch optimization. Family Bank Chief Executive Officer Nancy Njue says the continued growth in the bank's profitability, assets and capital strength demonstrate the effectiveness of the long-term strategy as they position the bank for sustained growth and stability. Customer deposits expanded 27.1% to 168.1 billion shillings.
Moving on, Kenya should intensify tourism marketing in the United States to boost tourism arrivals. Twiga Tours Chief Executive Officer Shazmin Manji told members of American League of Professionals that Kenya is a premium long-haul tourism destination despite global economic and geopolitical uncertainties.
The United States is Kenya's top tourist international source market, accounting for 12.8% of inbound travelers. Most of the over 306,500 visitors from the United States were leisure travelers, keen on safaris, as well as business visitors.
We wanted to make sure that we come to Kenya to ensure that Kenyans know that we are here to stand in partnership, also to share lessons learned, and to know that we can collaborate, because I believe that that's important now more than ever, is that we make sure that our interests and African interests are at the forefront, not just profit over the well-being of people.
Twiga Towers Chief Executive Officer Shazmin Manji, who hosted 125 members of the National Bar Association, said the U.S. offers potential to drive up Kenya's tourism numbers.
Magical Kenya is simply that, magical. Anyone wanting to visit Kenya is invited to do so. We are, of course, affected by the war in terms of global confidence on whether people should travel or not. But I think with that slowly settling and people really looking into travel, Kenya is definitely a favorite.
Shazmin said Kenya has diversified tourism products beyond safaris and beach to adventure sports, cultural heritage and meetings.
We're delighted to be able to show the best of both safari destinations, either singly or jointly, to our guests. As Kenya as a standalone destination, like I said, we have a lot to offer, maybe a lot more than our neighbors down south in terms of the range of culinary, wellness, sporting activities. And these are some of the areas we need to focus on and look to continue growing.
The visit by the African-American lawyers and judges signals Kenya's growing appeal as a destination for conferences, incentives, and professional networking events, which are viewed as critical for boosting tourism earnings and bed occupancy.
In other news, African countries could face a 40% decline in agricultural production this year due to disruption caused by the Middle East conflict. Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa head of resilience Tilahun Amede says the closure of the Strait of Hormuz and volatile fuel prices have sharply increased the cost of fertilizer, transport and other key agricultural inputs. Amede warns that supply chain disruptions and rising production costs were threatening food security and farm incomes in countries already struggling with climate shocks and inflation.
Effects could be significant, and in major producing areas, the yield, decline could be probably between 30 to 40%. And in addition, farmers may not also plant crops everywhere because if they feel that they are not going to produce enough or profitable, they may abandon some of the farms. So the total area of production.
Moving on, the Public Service Commission has put on notice, I believe we have already covered that, allow me to just read this. Farmers in Gaza are turning to improvised farming methods, growing vegetables and herbs in recycled food cans inside temporary greenhouses after the war destroyed large swaths of agricultural land. Facing acute shortages of farming supplies, many farmers in southern Gaza are reusing empty aid cans to cultivate crops such as mint in an effort to sustain livelihoods and food production amid the conflict's devastation. Here are the details of this and other stories in our international business wrap.
Inside makeshift greenhouses in southern Gaza, farmers are filling empty tins from aid kitchens with soil and seedlings as an alternative to nylon planting materials that have become scarce during the conflict. Farmers say Israel's designation of what Palestinians call the Yellow Zone has left only a fraction of Gaza's farmland accessible, while working the land often exposes them to gunfire. The United Nations says agriculture accounted for around 10% of Gaza's economy before the war, with more than 560,000 Palestinians depending on farming, fishing, or livestock for income. About 86% of Gaza's agricultural land has been destroyed since the war began in 2023, forcing farmers to improvise new ways to keep production going, particularly for aromatic plants and vegetables. Meanwhile, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has ordered the restoration of international internet access to levels seen before unrest erupted in January. Iran imposed sweeping internet restrictions on January 8th after nationwide protests over economic hardships and the sharp depreciation of the rial escalated into clashes that caused casualties and damage to public property. Iranian authorities accused the United States and Israel of fueling the unrest. Access was briefly restored after weeks of disruption before restrictions were tightened again on February 28th, following joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran, according to Iranian media reports. Finally, the price of Brent crude oil rose 1.5% to $97.56 per barrel on Tuesday morning after U.S. strikes on facilities in Iran. Prior to this, the price had fallen by about 7% the previous day. The market remains tense due to risk of further escalation of the conflict. U.S. Central Command stated that the U.S. military attacked Iranian targets in the south of the country, including boats allegedly attempting to lay mines, as well as missile launch sites. The Pentagon says the strikes were aimed at protecting the U.S. troops from threats emanating from Iranian forces.
Closer home, Kitui County government has embarked on a project to construct earth dams in areas where livestock do well in order to boost the goat production sector. Speaking during the launch of Kasiandu Earth Dam in Seikulu, Mwingi North constituency, Kitui CEC for Agriculture, Dr. Stephen Mbaya Kemwele, said the construction of earth dams will ensure adequate provision of water.
Mbuzi hapa approximately 5,000 ambao wataweza pata maji hapa, na ng'ombe karibu 3,000 waweza pata maji hapa, na punda zaidi ya 300 na kondoo zaidi ya 1,000. Katika kaunti ya Kitui, Kenya mzima, Kitui imeongoza na uleaji wa mbuzi, gala goods. We are leading the whole country. Na tena mambo ya ng'ombe tuko namba 6 katika country mzima. Hawa ukiangalia Kitui mzima, sehemu ya Siekru, Mwingi North, Kiuso, Mumoni, Taraka, Gomeni, they are leading in terms of livestock.
Now, moving on, villa owners in Malindi, Kilifi County are counting losses running into millions of shillings after fire gutted down several properties. The fire spread very fast, bringing down at least 12 executive villas along the Casino Beach Line. This and more stories in the county news brief.
Witnesses said the fire started from the beachside and spread rapidly due to strong winds, burning down the makuti thatched rooms. Tourists and local residents made efforts to salvage whatever property they could as they criticized firefighters from Kilifi County for arriving at the scene without enough water to contain the blaze.
Hapa niko kazini na nilipofika asubuhi nikasikia huo moto unawaka huko chini na nikaenda kuangalia. Kidogo kama masaa mawili hivi nikaona watu wanatoroka mbio. Kidogo moto ukawa umeshika kabisa huko chini, umewaka kabisa.
Manake sasa ni hasara, karibu kule chini kuna karibu nyumba 6. Hapa tuseme nyumba 6 zote zimechomeka. Tena tuko na watu wafai. Tunaona ni hasara hii. Kama sisi sasa nyumba ikichomeka kama vile sasa ni kama huna kazi unaenda kukaa nyumbani.
In Kiambu County, it is a sigh of relief to residents of Keroa, Kiroe and Doma villages in Kikuyu constituency after Kenya Wildlife Service officers nabbed one of the hyenas that have wreaked havoc on them.
Wamekuwa wakituhangaisha sana. For example, hata wanatembea hadi manyumbani. Watoto hawana amani, tunafungia watoto kwa manyumba kwa sababu ya ofisi. Pia watoto kwenda shule wanapata tabu sana kwa sababu lazima wazindikishwe. Wale wanaenda mapema lazima wapelekwe kwa sababu tunahofia ofisi.
Elsewhere in Eldoret, medical officers at the Life Care Hospital have protested over alleged workplace intimidation, poor staff welfare, and extra financial deductions.
Management remains fully committed to addressing and resolving any issues amicably, respectively, and in accordance with the company policy and applicable laws, to create an open and respectful platform for addressing any concerns raised by the team members and to work collaboratively towards the constructive solution. We request that a formal written communication be written in a formal way.
Elsewhere, residents living along the border of Nandi and Kisumu counties have welcomed the ongoing construction of the Nandi County Aggregation and Industrial Park in Kibigori, saying it will create jobs and improve security in the area.
Kama hii kwanza kwa uwanja ambayo imejengwa kwa sasa hivi imejengwa kwa border. Imetuleta pamoja kama vijana kutoka Kisumu County na Nandi County, ambayo hapa awali tulikuwa tukiwa na mgogoro mingi ya kila saa. Na aswa hii uwanja ambayo imejengwa hapa tulikuwa na mgogoro mingi sana, tulikuwa na vita. Lakini tangu hii project iletwe hapa karibu, imetuleta kwa pamoja na imetuletea amani kubwa. Kwa maana watu kutoka Nyanza, Kisumu hapo na Nandi County tunafanya kazi kwa pamoja.
On conservation, a Meru resident has chosen to celebrate his 30th birthday by planting 3,000 indigenous tree seedlings.
I thought of coming up with something maybe unique, something special for our environment, because there is already a directive of planting 15 billion trees.
Elsewhere, unexpected fire broke out at Ngumo Boys, Makindo, Makueni County this morning, burning the entire school, dormitories and students' personal belongings. Despite efforts, the entire dorm was reduced to ashes at the time when the boys were attending morning preps at 4 a.m. The school authority and police have launched investigations into the incident with some leads through CCTV showing student around the dormitories minutes before it went ablaze. Now, switching gears to matters sport, the Kenya national beach men and women's volleyball teams have both qualified for the CAVB Continental Beach Cup after finishing second in the Zone 5 qualifiers at the Sawa Sawa Beach in Tanzania. Veronica Adhiambo and Selina Gambo managed to beat the Burundians pair of Pamela Irakoze and Emanuela Ndanyikengurukie in the last match. So did Charlene Sebet and Sharon Jepkoskei to finish second behind Egypt. The Kenya men's pair of Richard Amutali and Anthony Chimanyi were beaten in straight sets by the Egyptian pair of Geoffrey Bahit and Yosef Awad in the final decider, and so did the other pair of Naftali Chumba and Regan Kipchirchir to resettle for the runners-up position. Nevertheless, both nations advanced to the Continental Beach Cup, where they will also be fighting for an Olympic slot. The Kenyan team were expected back home today. From volleyball to rugby now, where the Rugby Africa Women's Cup Performance Division matches resume tomorrow at the RFUEA grounds right here in Nairobi, with the Kenya national women's 15s rugby team playing Madagascar in their second match. The Lionesses will aim to build on the electric start where they overpowered Uganda Lady Cranes 43-10 over the weekend in the East African Derby. They are second on the table standings after that win, with South Africa in pole position following their overwhelming 64-5 opening victory against Madagascar in their opening match. The Islanders are at the bottom of the table after Uganda Cranes and risk relegation from the Division 1 if they don't improve on their performance by the end of the tournament this weekend. The Rugby Africa Women's Cup has been dominated by South Africa, who are on a quest for a fifth title, with the Kenya Lionesses 15s team hoping to dethrone them this time round. Apologies for the last freeze in those images in the last minute of that article, but thank you indeed so much for watching. We've come to the tail end of this conversation. Let's continue this conversation on our social media platform. My name is Njue. Lucy Mwaura has been my colleague on the sign language interpretation, but I just want to tell you that the Parliament is resuming after its long recess, and we will be having Kimani Ichung'wah being interviewed in regards to that. That is something that you do not want to miss. That is anytime from 2 p.m. Many thanks indeed for joining us. On behalf of everyone who's made this broadcast a success, I wish you a brilliant afternoon ahead.
Matata ukuja kuangalia clinic mara ngapi hapa kwa siku?
Mara moja tu.
Na wewe kazi yako huku ni kuchekesha wanawake.
Wewe Cassandra.
Hii ndio dawa na kipoko yako.
Mzee wangu ako nazo ovyo tu.
Na kwani huwezi protect mama yako?
Nipige babangu.
Haya ni mambo gani unayofanya? Tumekuja kukuomba hii ofisi tuzungumze na mzee.
Sio bwana. Chief alia
Mom.
Ukitoa jomba wako mbona hukuniuliza?
Unajifanya mjanja, si ndio?
But you have to, otherwise he'll be out.
Hey, I can't take that card. That'd split me up. I'd be stuck.
First, he didn't go far. I found him in the garden downstairs.
I want to try hard. But what will that achieve? Even if I work hard till I reach your age, it should be time to enjoy life. But it's still just one obstacle after another.
Kwa nini uona tuma kunisi? Wa track hiyo kari.
Ati anatuma nini?
Kunusi.
Hizo ni nini?
Makunisi sio yale mheshimiwa.
Buns.
Ndio hiyo mheshimiwa.
Makunisi.
Sio anaitwa makunisi mheshimiwa.
Buns.
Can we call this English please?
No
yes,
problem.
What about if we put like this?
You put my phone tracker so that you can track me because you love me because I'm a baby face. What about that one?
What is he talking about?
Kwani gari ni wale tatu atasahau hapa aende. Gari kubwa na mna hiyo wewe atasahau aje.
Mama, unajua mapenzi ni nini wewe?
Wanadanganya.
Chunga hii kesi inaweza kukufunga.
We've got so much fun waiting for you today.
Hi guys, my name is Tamara Njue. I'm a model and I'm 10 years old. I started modeling when I was around 5 years old. It was hard at first, but I still managed until this day.
Well, in today's book, we explore different careers and find out what do these people do. And who knows, maybe it will give you some ideas of careers that you can take. Our book is What Do You Want to Be?
Big blue balloons bob by the big bridge. The big balloons bob by the big bridge.
And today I'm going to show you how to make chicken noodle soup.
I have no more tears to shed. I want to be in charge of my life because I'm a boy child and I'm not taking the back seat anymore, not unless it is in a limo or a Mercedes Benz.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns. Tarehe 26 mwezi Mei, msafara wetu utatua kaunti ya Taita Taveta, huku tukianzia shughuli zetu katika eneo la Undanyi Stage, kisha tuingie Landi, Mwatate Stage, Caltex, Kariakoo, Kaloleni, Sofia, alafu tumalizie Voi Stage. Tarehe 30 Juni iko mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho, file KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress, jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Yo, welcome to the biggest, the baddest entertainment show right here in the 254. Wagwan from wherever place you are watching this amazing show from, man. Before I take you through the recap of the events, how they went down over the weekend, where they happened, allow me to take you straight into our weekly rituals of the new releases, manze. And talking about that, Lil Maina alongside Okello Max walidrop ngoma mbaya sana, ngenje sana, inaitwa Nataka. Nataka is one of those songs that you can use as your pickup line pale kwa streets, manze. All you need to do is just to play it on repeat, ama you put it on repeat, alafu utafanya nini? Utasikia word for word for word for word, and then you can use it, manze. The visuals of this video, dope. Alafu tena pati ya pili ya Okello Max. Oh my God. Hey, Wagwan, big guided. We are outside, man. Uhuru Park tonight for Tukutane. Bashment going down right here, man. Fresh vibes, man. It's an event that brings together some of the most exciting artists that currently are shaping the Kenyan urban industry. We're talking about the transition from the music straight to the DJ, dancers, and of course, influencers. Some of the big names that we have right here tonight are Mandy, Big Boys, Tukona Gogo, alongside other amazing artists. The icing on cake is straight on the content creators who went through the content creators competition, and tonight they are being crowned. How about we go straight into the event? Let's go.
The atmosphere at Uhuru Park was electric as creators, influencers, and fans gathered to celebrate a campaign that brought campus experiences from the crowd straight to the stage. Renowned Kenyan dancer Kolo Blue set the pace from viral dance challenges to his hit track Burukanga. It was truly a proud moment for Kenyan dance culture.
Goal ni attention. Make sure you have as much eyeballs as possible. Whatever you do, tumia your art yako ya dance kukuposition, you get? So the dance itself might not position, but you can use it as a tool to position you. Kama unajua na msee anafanyanga movie, wape idea vya unaweza fanya movie ya dance. Enda kwa wasanii waambie venye wanaweza tengeneza ngoma ya dance. Use that dance as a tool. The dance should not be the subject, right?